let's see. We'll find out. We'll
through,
find out.
see through things.
See clearly. Hello. Hi, everyone. Oh, Lauren, can you speak again?
I can speak again. Hi.
Okay, cool. No, we've been having some audio little tweaks, weird things, ghosts in the machines. So hi everyone, it's Friday. It's time for Paint and Slay. Thank you so much for your patience as we were trying to figure out what was going on, and it's still kind of like a huh. So just heads up, we have a couple things happening today when it comes to technology.
We were away for 1 week and look what happens. Look what happens.
One's intentional. The other one is not. So I have been playing around with my camera setting, which you can see there's this lovely little arm right here. As opposed to going across here, it's going up because I have lofted my camera up. And what I am hoping is that this means we'll have this fun of having minis that are on an autofocus. So as I move them up and down, the camera will just sort of automatically reset. So you can see it's doing it right now.
There we go.
So I'm going to give it a try and see if I like this better, because this means I won't have so much stuff in front of me. So that way I'm not turning into a gremlin and trying to paint in awkward spaces. So we'll see if that works. If for some reason I decide, nah, this is not doing it, I'm just going to pop something quickly onto the window, fix the camera so you don't get like a C6 situation happening with my shifting the camera at the same time.
Yeah.
So just a heads up. If it looks a little different today, that is why, because we're playing around. And of course, the fun thing is right now, because this is a clear plastic mini, it's doing a lot of flare back. So the lighting is going to be fun until we start getting some color on these. The other thing is that if for some reason Lauren noticed when we were going live that there was an odd, you said there was a rhythmic feedback sound?
Yeah, if y'all hear anything weird coming through the audio, let me know. I'll leave it at that, because I feel like if it's coming through the audio on the stream and you hear it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't need to describe it, because y'all go,
"What that?
What is that?" So,
what is
so
that?
yes, chat. On a regular basis, we ask for your help, and in this case, we're asking for your help right away.
And if you see a cat corkscrewing behind me, Hemingway's chasing his tail again.
There's also cats doing corkscrews. It's Friday, everybody. It's Friday.
He's literally doing this.
Plum Bob. So here's the thing. I appreciate the. They said, I think I need to hear some oboe scales to properly judge the audio.
Aww.
I appreciate where you're going with this. I will give the serious answer, even though I know you're kind of joking. If I was to pull the oboe out right now and play, it wouldn't sound that good, because I have all of my setup for me talking, and oboe playing is kind of, it's not a hugely different setup, but it's different enough that it would actually, if you could hear it, it wouldn't sound as good as it should. And on top of that, Zoom and or Twitch would probably noise gate it.
Oh, that's a good point.
Because I'm assuming, because there's a setting on Zoom that you can do for music specifically. Yeah. That's what we had to do with when we were doing Bardic Inspiration in order for Jason's music to be able to come through. If you don't have that setting on, then yeah, a lot of Zoom assumes all music is just really loud. Yeah. Yeah. And so all of a sudden just goes away.
Okay, so before we get into talking more about these minis and other things like that, there are some things going on this weekend that we probably want to make sure we are chatting about. So Lauren, let's start getting everyone ready for the weekend.
Yay! It's the Rashomon Travel Weekend, which means that, yay, Dinah Hare and Minsk are coming along to help you out, as well as Andreas and Brunor and Will. So if you haven't signed up for the newsletter, definitely sign up now so that you can get, first off, you'll get Hitch right away, which is an awesome champion. But then weekly, you'll be able to get these awesome gold chests that will give you some free loot just for signing up. And so if you are signed up for the newsletter sometime in the next several hours, you should get your free gold travel chest. And I love that the all the travel stickers, like an old school
like passport
steamer trunk. Yeah. It's very good. It's very good.
That was so charming. When I saw that one, I'm like, yes, please. I love it. Let's just keep doing that.
Yep.
So that is our weekend buff going on. And then also, don't forget, we have right now happening.
Yeah, this is this is the last
I think
weekend
this is the
for
last weekend.
Greengrass.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the finale of Greengrass, and so this is your final couple of days in order to not just unlock Gale and Penelope and gear them up, but also all of the extra flex slots that you should have all of them, most of them open by now. So go ahead and use all of the buffs that you get from the weekend buffs and see if you can get some extra chests. I know I opened up extra ones for Orkira, Spurt, Ayla, Melf, and someone else. I don't remember who. But yeah, I've been hardcore trying to get as many chests as possible, so we'll see. We'll see what I can do in this final stretch into the end of Greengrass.
Wonderful. All right, and then along with that, we also have Gabe moderating the chat for us. Thank you, Gabe. And if you have questions for us, don't forget to type it in caps, question, colon, and then your question. And Gabe will make sure that we get those important questions, and we will answer them as we move along. And with that said, let us hide Penelope, even though that's such a shame. I love that Penelope art. So we're going to jump into working with the animated breaths. These are from D&D Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures from WizKids. So we're going to be doing fire and acid today. So grab your heartburn medication. No, I'm just kidding. So
let me get some Tums.
Let me get the Tums. Let me get the Tums. So if you're going to go and pick these up, we're basically working with these two. All right. And I always like to show off the SKUs, which are the 9-0. So 90682 and 90681. Clearly they were in sequence with each other. So those SKUs are what you would take to your friendly local game store. Or if there's not a local game store near you, you just go to dndmini.com, plug in, honestly, you could just type in the search bar, animated breath fire, animated breath acid, and it should, get you to where you need to be. But these are definitely some fun minis. They are very much in that whole transparent, clear status. So the techniques I'm going to show you today is how to get color onto these, because as you can tell in the art below, these are some nice vividly colored creatures. However, you do want to keep this transparency that goes on with the plastic, because it'll help sort of enhance the glow, because light will play into the mini and then emit itself out. So you don't want to go in and just slather these guys up in lime green and orange. I mean, you could. That sounded so wrong.
I mean, you could. You could have a lot of fun doing that, yeah.
You could.
Glow in the dark paint. That's what you should do. You should slather it and glow in the dark paint. I
do have glow in the dark paint.
I don't know how we'd show that on stream, but it'd be super fun.
But what you want to do is make sure you're not opaquing this out, because then you lose the fun that the light will have when you do let it play in the details of these particular minis. So this is fire, and this is acid. And you can see these have this sort of draconic-esque details. This one even has pec muscles. That's what cracks me up. Dude works out.
Hey, listen, if you're going to be created, and you are a being that can change your shape, why not have a six-pack?
Yeah. But these are cool creatures. Like, basically, this is, dragons learning how to hone their breath and turn it into elemental-like creatures, which is basically what these are. So, we're going to get started.
Which is also why I love that it's not just that the draconic, but the fire one, the head looks like a red or a gold dragon, and the acid one looks like a black dragon. So
exactly. So
it's hard to see in the thing because it's being clear, but yeah.
So you can. It's honestly the top down helps with this one. You can see how this has that black dragon-esque head to it, and then let me get a better shot. Angle, come on. Focus.
There we go.
There it is. You can see how that has the classic red dragon look to it.
Yeah. I love that little detail.
Yeah, it's fun. So we're going to be using the D&D prismatic paints for the majority of this. However, we are going to tap into pulling out our fun Ceramcoat Flash Metallic in green again. This you're going to have fun with as we get towards the end of things, Lauren. Just a heads up for everyone. So I think what we're going to do is kind of treat this as like a back and forth situation. So we'll start with one and then shift over to the other while layers are drying, just to make it a little bit easier. So we're going to start with the acid breath, which is, again, the one that has like the black dragon-like head. So we'll start with that. And we're going to take out a color we don't often use. This is the other reason why I'm excited for these. We're going to grab Flame Skull Green.
Oh, yeah.
And that is something we're going to have fun with the bottom third of this mini. Okay, so we're kind of breaking this up into pieces of third almost.
Okay.
So the important thing here is to make sure when we go and do this, we're going to do a dry brush technique. What we don't want to do is be extremely heavy-handed with this dry brushing. We want to keep it nice and light. We don't want it going into the recesses of the mini because, again, we want that clear plastic to play through. So definitely check your brush on your paper towel. Make sure it's not overloaded. And we're going to start dragging the Flame Skull Green, which is hiding. There it is. And this is a super vivid, like
very
yellow.
neon.
It's
Very
bright.
neon.
It is very, very bright. So there you
go. Okay.
And get that going.
Bottom puddle, and then you said third. So like
about a third up the body. So really, we're gonna kind of pause this, almost like right after this, like where it starts to curve again, just above this, the start of the drips.
Okay.
It's kind of the best way to describe that one. Green flame, says Moses Corrada.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Yeah, I love how you said we get to use this color, which we very rarely get to use, which is true, but also just we kind of pulled out every single green in the set. Almost every single green. Yeah. It's just like this green, that green, this green, which totally makes sense.
Yeah, I mean it's a very bright green. Like this is your classic 80s lime green for those of you who want a color at home but they don't have the prismatic paints at home.
Yeah.
And the important thing here is you have all these fantastic textures going on with this mini, so you're going to pull across the textures, not with it.
Yeah, these are really deep grooves, so it's almost it's kind of easy actually to just know the right direction to go in and not get too overloaded, especially on the bottom.
Yeah.
We do have a couple of questions. Come on. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could see. Yeah. Ghostbusters Slimer Green, sure.
Yep. That was another one from Moses.
Lurking Writer wants to know, slightly adjacent to the stream, but do you know who was responsible for the Gale and Penelope key art? I know it's often Ivy, but didn't want to assume in case it was another of the fantastic artists.
It is Ivy on Gale and Penelope was Jessie, I want to say.
Nice. Yeah, the key art just consistently every single time. Yeah. I'm so happy when we get to see the final piece and it's just, ooh, that looks so good.
Hold on, I'm being nitpicky with my
Nah, be nitpicky. This is the time. Gauntlet Blade wants to know, what was the Orkira video posted on YouTube for? Fun. Yeah, it's just a short. It's using the awesome song that we wrote for Bardic Inspiration, and it's literally just for fun. A lot of the shorts and TikToks are that's all they really are just fun clips or fun videos put together, because you know what, that's what, when you've got 59 seconds, you might as well just have a fun time. And Caliph Marin wants to know, V, is the giant black squishy on the couch a cat or a dragon? Namely, is it toothless?
No, it is just a cute black cat.
It's just not adorable.
Toothless. I do have a toothless plushie, not in this room though, which I know, yes, shocker, considering I have like every other plushie in this room.
And all the plushies I have are in this room as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them.
There you go.
All on display, because apparently when you become an adult, it's not that you stop having stuffed animals, it's that you just display them more.
Yes, exactly. There's nothing wrong with that one.
I love this very well-placed drip on the back that's like helping hold up the rest of
Yeah.
the mini.
Extra, subtle
Yeah.
support. Why not? But this is,
Um,
you can see it's fun with the color coming up.
yeah, I got
Pop,
mine
pop,
going
pop.
here. Uh, Sergeant Man wants to know for V, did you have training or school for these techniques, or did you develop them yourself?
Um, Sort of a trick question for me because I have an arts background. I have had art classes and training in watercolors, oils, pastels, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Mini painting is my taking all of that and applying what I know into miniature painting. So kind of riffing off classic techniques and miniaturizing it, I guess.
Literally.
So yeah, not technical classes for mini painting, but technical classes, yes, for things like sketching and canvas and everything like that.
All right. Kind of got till, oh, this is going to be impossible to see on my camera, as this not going to work. A little bit. So I kind of got to about here, it sounded like. So,
Yeah, just above those drips. Come on, there we go. So it kind of stops about there.
all right.
Dee-dee.
Looking at your dry brushing, I think I took your caution to not be too heavy-handed with the dry brushing and went a little too far with it because I'm looking at mine and mine's like real light.
Okay, so yeah, you can be a little bit more.
Yeah.
Basically, what did you do? Sorry, Hemingway just ran into something. Basically, you want it to deposit the color without it obliterating the clarity
transparency.
that happens. Yeah. Oh, that's actually an angle. So you can see how you can still see my holder underneath,
Yeah.
but the color pops out. That's kind of what you're aiming for. Okay. So then we're going to let this dry a little bit.
Okay.
And I think we're going to go over to the fire breath and do its third base. Third of the base of it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And we're going to mix a couple colors together. So I want to use the really bright and vivid gold yellow from the prismatic paints. Focus. And then dead white. So basically I'm using primary yellow and true white and mixing them just to lighten the yellow just a little bit. I don't want it to be so deep, but we're also not going for like a very like sunny yellow. We're going more for that kind of like scrambled eggs yellow.
Okay. All right. Still a bright yellow.
Still a bright yellow, but not as deep as what the gold yellow comes out as.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
There you go. Just give it a moment or two and we'll come up with a food reference.
Well, sometimes that does help.
Oh, yeah. Like, as soon as you said scrambled eggs, I'm like, okay, I know what color we're kind of aiming for.
And I don't mean like, hotel buffet scrambled eggs. I mean like you went home, you made your own scrambled eggs, healthy, like yellow scrambled eggs.
Me cook? All right.
So kind of like that.
Yeah.
Great.
Also, I'm assuming at this point, since no one said anything in chat, none of you hear anything wrong with any of the audio? Oh, yeah, this whole time. But that, you know what? That just means it's probably something on my end. And as long as it's not coming through the stream, I'm okay with it because I can fix it. I can look for reasons and fix it afterwards.
Yeah. So same thing. We're just going to go through and start dry brushing with this
bottom
yellow.
third?
Bottom third, yep. Bink. Yeah, that... I'm telling you, audio stuff is the weirdest thing sometimes.
Yeah.
I mean, for all you know, it could be someone's parked outside with a weird Bluetooth device, and that's enough to interrupt.
To be honest, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like a
like a car or something.
Well, just specifically that kind of interference that
Yeah.
you can get, that kind of that noise. So for chat, the thing that I am hearing is just kind of a very rhythmic, regular but quiet zit, 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 that literally sounds like, oh, someone's phone is just too close to the
Yeah.
microphone, or something like that is going on. And it started just before we went live. And my main concern was that it was not coming through
Mm-hmm.
the stream. And since it isn't, then at least that not
Helps
only
you
means,
troubleshoot.
yeah, that gives us a little time later to troubleshoot. It also pretty much confirms it's got to be on my end. It's something coming through my headset, but
Yeah.
yeah, that is a later problem. Mm.
I love how the yellow pops out more on the camera.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know if I did this on
No.
purpose, but the top of this pill bottle, I painted the tops of all my pill bottles so that
Uh-huh.
um
The flare.
there weren't any accidental brands coming through. I
Oh,
just
smart.
happened to grab the orange one, and so looking down on the flame one with the yellow and the orange, it's really cool looking
Oh,
actually.
neat. Very cool. All right, I'm liking this. This is looking good.
Oh, Redden says the whole phone sitting next to a mic thing confuses me so much, honestly. Do you mean like why people would do it, or
The
why it would cause
interference.
interference?
Yeah.
Because the why people would do it, especially on a lot of streams, is just because, the same reason we all have our phones nearby, because we are all addicted to our phones, or, we're keeping an eye out for messages and important things. But also in D&D terms, there are a lot of people who use their phones for their character sheets for
Beyond.
D&D
Yeah.
Beyond.
Yeah.
Uh, Now, most microphones, especially newer-ish ones, but you don't even have to have like something brand new. Most microphones are pretty good about blocking out that kind of interference. You'd have to get your phone real close, or you have to be like, no, actually, you just really have to get your phone real close.
Yeah.
Um, but other electronic devices don't have to be nearly as close in order to cause interference. On a very rare but regular basis, there are certain kitchen appliances in my apartment that will cause, it's a different
Microwave.
kind of interference, which is why I couldn't tell what this was.
Mm-hmm.
I think I need
Okay,
to
so
go
that gives you a
a
sense
bit
of,
higher.
yeah, of what it's going to look like when you do the yellow.
So a little bit higher.
Yeah. I am thinking I'm liking this whole new camera setup. So chat, remind me before we sign out today to take a picture of my studio setup because I will forget. uh,
Yeah, the irony of like, here you are on camera, but you can't show off what your studio setup is with the
I
camera that you're
mean,
using to be on camera.
what I could do is step away, take a picture with my cell phone, hold my cell phone underneath I think it's very Inception-y for everyone.
I mean, if that's what you got to do though to get it to work, so that you have,
Oh god, it's
so
too
that you know
funny.
what works.
Yeah,
I
right.
think once again, I don't know how well this is gonna. It's gonna kind of
It's
show
showing.
up more as
Yeah,
a yellow
it's showing.
blob, but yeah.
But yeah, this is about where we are at this point. So we're gonna go back to our Slimer. I'm gonna call him Slimer. I'm gonna go back to Slimer. It's too perfect. And we're gonna grab Livery Green. And we're going to do the same thing, but take it to the middle third portion of this body. So I'm gonna stop this sort of just under the shoulders, I'm thinking.
Okay.
Like there's this little flippy do right here. So I think I'll take it to the bottom portion of that flippity do. And then we can
Okay.
do the other color towards the top.
Now, is that going to include the arms or not include the arms?
Oh, it definitely includes the arms.
Okay.
Yeah. You
I
want those
wasn't sure if
first.
you were talking about like, all right, this third
No,
instead
like
of
this,
just
it's going to be.
okay.
Yeah. So this is. No, that's Flame Skull. I want Livery. So Livery is the unhealthy color green.
Yeah.
Like, this
Yeah,
is a
it
pestilence
is.
level of lime green.
Yeah.
Yeah, flippity-doo lurking wider, that is a technical term. Absolutely is a technical term. Or wait, no, hold on. Have you started yet?
Yes, but like just barely.
Mix. We're gonna do this. I just realized this came out lighter than I remembered. So
Okay.
mix this livery green with a little bit of the flame skull green for the middle third portion.
Okay.
Then we'll go to livery green itself
Actually,
for the last part.
I've got some of the flame skull still left over, so.
So do I. That's what made me realize. I'm like, you know what? That wasn't quite as dark as I remember it being. That, or I did a better job shaking it up when I did a test patch today
Mm.
than what I did. I
Yeah,
mean,
all
than
the
when I did test
greens.
patch. Yeah, they
Yeah, all
settle.
the greens.
Did you see me shaking my greens during our morning stand up?
No.
We were
Just like
talking,
casually.
and I was just doing this because my greens, because we so rarely use greens like this, they had started separating.
Yeah. And even the ones that we use on a regular basis,
Yeah. Well,
they
goblin.
separate so quickly.
Goblin is really, it loves to just divide and conquer into three different colors.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, now we're going to take this mixed version and take it into that middle third to the dippity doo. Our newly adopted term.
Fun of trying to get under the arms.
The underarm pitties.
Yeah.
It's amazing the creatures that have underarms. That
It's the fact that everything eventually is humanoid-ish shaped,
mm-hmm.
and there are just some features of humanoids that you don't think, oh, humanoids, they need armpits. But you do
Right.
think humanoids, they need arms and they need
Yep,
a torso.
they
And
do.
then guess what you get when you put those two together?
Arm pitties.
Pitties.
Underarm pitties.
Oh, the pitties.
Uh-oh, what?
Gargoyle 994. Little paint castanets.
I was just waiting for someone on our call this morning to see what I was doing. Be like, well, she's lost it. Mm-hmm.
Or not that you lost it, but just be like, but we don't get to see the cat when you're doing that. Where's the
Right?
kitty? Where's our daily dose
They
of
were
these
all
adorable
napping
cats?
that. They were seriously all napping for the morning meeting today. Normally, my cats love to make appearances around our morning stand-up call
Mm-hmm.
for CNE, and especially Cotton. Cotton, who actually doesn't make many appearances on live streams. So when Cotton appears, you know something special's just happened because he's the one who's just like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Thanks, but no.
Yeah.
But Cotton for meetings, he absolutely will make his presence known by sitting on my lap and pretty much insisting that it's Lauren sees this firsthand, that pretty much he sits on my lap, and what I need to do is put him onto my lap, stick my hands underneath his underarm pitties, so there's a connection here, and then scritch his chin at the same time, which ends up with Cotton's arms going way above his head, and as I scritch him, like his arms just flail back and forth. And he's purring, like he purrs like a motorboat when I do this to him.
And
But
we're all
yeah,
just kind of used to it.
yeah.
It's still adorable, but it's just nobody bats an eye anymore
So like, oh,
when you look
there's
over
Cotton.
and
Yep.
you
Whee! Yeah, it's pretty funny.
okay.
And honestly, a lot of that comes from the fact that I fostered Hemingway and Cotton from a very, God, they were what, 3 or 4 weeks old when I got them from the rescue
Aw.
facility. Yeah, they were wee babes.
Aw.
So like I raised them initially thinking, well, I have to make sure that they're socialized. So if they're adopted by a family with small children, et cetera, et cetera.
Exactly.
And then they became foster failures because I just could not give up those sweet little faces.
Or they became foster successes. You were just fostering them for yourself.
Oh, now that's a technical term. Like foster, talking about,
Oh,
they're called foster failures when people take cats in or other animals to foster them.
and then
If you decide
fail
you want to
to
keep
get
it,
rid of them.
it's actually it's a positive spin. Like, I know it sounds failure, but no, it means like they were loved so much they basically stayed with the foster family.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I thought you were being self-deprecating. I'm like, you
No, no, no,
know,
no, no, no. It's literally they were called foster failures.
that's funny.
But like I used to take them around to different events to raise awareness for the group, and they were just so cute in the little kennel, and like they were like little representatives for while they were kittens. So they're very
Aw.
like, you know, they were very chill and mellow cats until I had the roof redone, and that just they did not like that as babies.
Mm. I mean, that's
So,
fair.
Yeah. Like, focus.
Yep. Once again, the green is gonna be actually with this. I guess
There
it,
you go.
yeah, it shows up better when I'm not doing the beauty thing. It's
Yeah, mine I have to. Okay, so that's going to be that. We're going to set and let that dry.
not it.
And we're going to go back to Foya. And in this case, we're going to take gold, yellow straight up and do the middle third section again. I'm glad I didn't throw out this dry brush from the other week. I'm like, it looks like I could still use it for something, and I'm using it for today because it is just so ridiculously splayed out. Come on.
Yeah.
Wants to
I'm
focus
also
on
happy that I did the work a couple weeks ago to get gold yellow to open so that I can use it now without it
Right?
being a challenge or
Yeah.
something that scares me. Okay, and same thing. The second, third.
Yep, that middle third zone.
All right.
Oh, it looks like Sergeant MN also wife's fostered small dogs. Ended up with 2 failures. Whoopsie. I did a count the other, well, not the other day, but I did a count and I fostered over 20 cats and kittens
Aw.
when I was with that rescue group. Oh, and fun
Yeah,
fact.
and I agree with Redden. I couldn't do fostering. They would all be failures. Yeah.
Aw,
Yeah, I'm with you there.
Fun fact, Hemingway and Cotton had a sister named Cloud. And,
Aw.
well, actually, they were from a litter of 5. So it was Cotton, Hemingway, Cloud, Juniper, and Rocket. Juniper and Rocket were classic tabbies, different father situation, that's a thing that can happen with cats. And you could tell they were already a bonded pair. So one of the other foster people took the 2 of them.
Yeah.
Because that sort of helps encourage their bonding a little bit more. And then I was left with basically the 3 gray Maine Coon versions. So Cotton and Hemingway, right off the bat, they were just so sweet and cuddly and precious as can be with each other and with everyone else. And then there was their sister Cloud. And Cloud, precious and adorable and sweet until her brothers came in the room.
Oh.
There are cats you can tell are just like, nope, you're a singleton. You are meant to be a singleton. You adore being a singleton. You do not want other cats around you. So even though they were her litter mates, every single time Cotton and Hemingway got near her, she became such a diva. Like, she'd puff her little self out. She'd hiss. She'd run away. But then when, like, the 2 of them were off and playing in a different room, she'd come up to me and she'd curl up on my lap. She'd be purry. She'd be lovey. She'd be all this. I'm like, okay, so you clearly need someone who's just going to adore you at all times.
Yep.
No questions asked. So she
Yep,
ended
you
up with
require singular focus.
and she ended up in the perfect house. She got adopted by this senior citizen woman, like mid-60s, I think she said. She like volunteered her age with me. And she's like, I just retired. I need a friend. I need someone with attitude. And the second she said attitude, I'm like, have I got the kitten for you?
I need someone with attitude. I love it.
She's like, I need someone who's going to make me laugh. I need someone who's going to make me smile. I'm like, I know exactly who would be a perfect match for you. Let me introduce you to my darling little Cloud. So I would get little cloud updates. And the woman called it her
Aw.
weather updates for me. I have another weather update for you. Cloudy with a chance of, and then she'd like, cloudy with a chance of eating her food, cloudy with a chance of, taking a nap. So it was cute.
I also love that all these names stuck around. Like,
Me too.
I have no problems with like when people adopt if they change the names, especially for young animals. But like,
Hmm.
I also do love that, oh, that's just a fun name. We're just gonna keep
Yeah.
Cloud. We're just gonna keep Hemingway. We're just gonna keep using those because those are fun.
Yeah, it's one of those hindsight things. If I had known that they would have been staying, I probably wouldn't have named them as such, but they had been with me long enough and they knew their names. And like, you can
Yeah,
say, their names and they come running. So
yeah.
at that point, I'm
Now,
like, well, I'm not changing your name.
yeah. Now, I've reached the point of the back of this where like the
So I'm kind of
spikes.
stopping. Focus.
Yeah.
I think it's
Okay.
that C in Idle Champions. So I'm kind of stopping just underneath the spikes themselves.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So the arms are really going to get more of the last bit of color on this one.
All right. Mm. Yeah, eventually when Luke and I finally get a place that's a little bigger
Mm-hmm.
that has access to either a park or a yard, we definitely want to get a dog, but
Oh, nice.
until we have the space,
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, this is a two-bedroom apartment, so it's not like it's tiny, but
Right. Right. I mean, quite
especially
frankly,
since
with
we'd want to get at least a medium-sized
yeah,
dog.
yeah, that's just it. The whole reason why I haven't gotten a dog is because it's like, well, I already have 3 cats in this house. That's plenty of
Yeah.
animals. Um, and plus it's like if I have to travel and that type of thing, it's not fair to keep foisting the dog off on someone else to watch them for me.
Yep.
So, you know, that's sort of my thing. Okay, so we're gonna put
All right.
fire back down, go back to acid. That sounded wrong for some reason.
I mean,
um,
it's accurate.
right? So now we're gonna go to livery green, full livery green, and we are going to dry brush that on the
Okay.
rest of the body. Where did I put it? There it is.
Oh, thank you, Sergeant Man. I have to give my parents credit for some of that. Also, I did my day job for a non-insignificant amount of time while I was living in Florida, which is a whole other story.
Mm.
Was working at a doggy daycare and boarding facility. So, I definitely and I had dogs growing up, and so I knew what it takes to really have, a healthy dog
Mhm.
and all the different sizes and breeds and everything like that. So it's just as much as we would both love one, uh,
Yeah,
gotta wait. And just livery green is the rest of the creature.
exactly. Rest of the
Okay,
creature.
cool.
I gotta tell you, Latia with Dio,
God damn, it's adorable.
that is a very tempting situation for me. It's like if I could find another one of those particular dog breeds.
Mm-hmm.
Let's
I'm
just say it would
hoping.
take a lot for me to walk away.
Yeah, I'm hoping when we have the facility to and the means and everything,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I'm totally okay with a mutt. Like we're definitely going
Oh
to
yeah,
adopt. We're not going to go to a breeder. No, and nothing
right.
wrong with, doing dogs from a breeder, but like we definitely want to adopt. Um but like if I had a breed in mind as far as like what I think would work really well for both Luke and I at our age and lifestyle, I really
Mm-hmm.
want a bull terrier.
Ooh,
Which
okay,
I
yeah.
know terriers, people immediately are just like terriers. they're so high in energy. And yeah, but like bull terriers, because if you don't know what they are, they're the really, really short-haired, medium-sized kind of stocky dogs with a really long nose.
Mm-hmm.
Like horse nose. Uh, Most people recognize them as the target dog. The white with
Yeah. Yep.
the thing, but they come in a whole bunch of different fur colors. And like just they're so happy, and they have a really good mixture of energy to do things but not being hyperactive. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
they are terriers, but they're not completely prey driven like some, especially the smaller terriers can be.
Mm-hmm.
um and they're just, every single one I've ever met, and I've been very fortunate to meet a lot, have been just goofy happy fun.
Aw.
And and once again have that just enough energy and interest to like go for walks and play and roughhouse and everything, but then we'll also just curl up on the couch. So like uh that's that is, if I had to go walking in somewhere and just had a pick of any breed, I feel like that'd be ideal. As much as both of us had huskies growing up, and I love huskies, neither of us are in a position to be able to huskies. Nope. Nope. We're never going to
Mm-mm.
have that much yard or be that athletic.
Yeah. No, thank you. All right. So this gives you an idea of what this looks like now.
Meh.
Do do do. All right. So Slimer is pretty much covered with the greens right now. So we're gonna set Slimer down.
Also, I just saw Gargoyle 1984 said Spuds McKenzie, but I date myself. But yes,
The truth.
you
Truth.
are 100%
Not wrong.
correct.
That's good though.
Yeah.
I like it.
Listen, if it makes you feel any better about dating yourself, we all got that too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when I talk about bull terriers, the target dog seems to be the one that more people know, just kind of off the top of their head.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I have no idea whether that's even still a thing for Target.
Gotcha.
I don't I don't watch much commercials anymore, so I don't know about Target.
Target. Okay, so
Target.
now we're gonna go back to fire and we're gonna jump into orange fire.
All right.
And we're gonna do the rest of the body, but then fire's gonna have another round of some dry brushing, as is Slimer, the acid one, for different reasons. And I'll get into it,
Okay.
each one why.
Layering.
Layering, it's fun. Playing with color, yay!
Yeah, Kayla Marin says I'm heinously allergic to dogs, so it's a big no. I prefer cats anyways. Yeah, it's can be hard with pets because even the really short-haired breeds, it doesn't take much to set off allergies. All right, orange fire, let's do this.
And in this case, you can overlap that orange fire a little bit onto like that very upper portion of where you left off with the yellow,
Okay.
just to get a little bit of blending happening here.
Well, this definitely shows
Mm-hmm.
shows up.
Oh yeah.
The
it pops
contrast
right
is
up.
a lot bigger than with the greens.
Yeah. I think the grooving's a little bit deeper on the fire one because the lines of the fire has more pointed areas, whereas the acid is a little bit more rounded in some things. So it
Yeah,
sort
I
of
think you're
softens
right,
the
yeah.
lines a little bit.
And the fire gets pointier as it goes up.
Yeah.
Well, the green gets softer, except for that crest, that
Yeah.
ridge.
Exactly.
Oh, now I gotta deal with these spikes. All right.
That's what Buffy said.
Or hopefully it was just a spike. Wait a second. Was there more than one? God, it's been a hot minute since I've watched that show.
No, there was only the one Spike, but my God, like every season he almost had a different personality.
I mean, that's true. That's true. Spikes in the back of the head. Let's see what we can do about that. Jeez. I mean, I knew this was going to be a challenging spot,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, actually, Caliph, about the whole hairless cat thing, I believe that is a misnomer. Just because they're hairless, I think they still have the allergy factor because it's in the cat saliva, not the cat fur.
and the oils on
And
the
the
skin
oils,
can
yeah.
also carry that same. It's
Yeah.
better.
It's
It is
yeah, but
better.
it's not a guarantee. It's the Siberian cats are a specific breed that are known to have a lower dander to them.
Yep.
And there's a couple of other breeds out there that are also specifically low dander and low saliva contributor.
But definitely,
Yeah.
if your allergy is slight, um, then the hairless can help a lot because if only for the fact that you won't have hair all over the place, and
Yeah.
so it's not a constant thing.
Yeah.
That's also one of the interesting things about it's interesting that you talk about Siberian cats. Siberian Huskies, they're not they are better for people with allergies, but like a lot of dogs, you still, but they have a very neutral smell or very little, which is often why other dogs are sometimes very wary about
Oh,
meeting huskies
interesting.
because they have no regular smell.
You
So they
don't
go to
smell
meet them and
normal.
then it's yeah,
That's
like
funny.
they expect dogs to smell like
Right.
dogs, and then you come up to a Siberian Husky and it's like, why don't you smell? And it's just because of the way their
Right.
hair and
How
the
funny.
different coats and everything.
Huh?
Definitely got one side of the head is really nicely,
And the other one's really tricky to get to.
yeah. And that arm is too thick to just kind of ease out of the way.
Yeah. There's no moving arms on this one.
Nope. Nope. I may just have to move to a much smaller dry brush. Hairless wrinkle babies. Yeah. I love those cats. I love how they look. I know a lot of people are like, "Wait, what? Hairless cats?" I remember
Oh, but it's like, when like Kate Welch or Dan Dillon share pictures of their cats on their social media, dear fucking god.
they are adorable. Absolutely.
Like Kate
Adorable
has tattoos
goblins.
of her two babies on her arms.
Hmm. Oh, they're 100% adorable. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Uh, I do remember and I will avoid there's really no spoilers I'm about to give, but no major spoilers, I should say. But the the fun with the Baldur's Gate 3 cat
Oh
that
yes.
yeah, which if
Yep.
you know that's all
You
I have to
know.
say, and so I'll avoid any other spoilers
Yeah.
even though it's not plot related in anything, but it's still a wonderful moment.
Yeah.
But then that whole public outcry with the hair.
Mm-hmm. That was funny.
Hmm. Yeah, Luke and I've been a little slow on our uh co-op playthrough, but we did finally get to the point where he got to meet Your Majesty.
Oh,
So
lovely.
that was very fun.
Okay, so here we are at this point with the orange fire going on.
Yep. Mwah, mwah.
Doo doopy doo. All right, I'm gonna pop that down, and then we're gonna go back to Slimer, and in this case, we're going to take a little bit of white and mix it in with livery green, and we're just gonna go to like some of those more pointed feature areas. So like on the crest, on the horns, a little bit on the face, towards like those little flippity doos around the arms. We're just going to touch the upper portions with those with the very light green that we're about to create. But I'm also making sure my brush is well rinsed because light green and orange are gonna make brown.
Ugh. So you said livery green and white?
Livery green and white. Yeah, I might actually
Okay.
have to wash this brush.
Yeah, I've actually just switched over to a new
Yeah,
dry brush just because, like, I think I got most of it off, but
fair. This is almost like a pistachio ice cream green.
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Just to wait.
Yeah, right there. One moment, please. Yeah, I'm gonna jump to a different dry brush because that orange is still quite prevalent. All right, so like I said, we're just gonna do things like take it along the crest,
Okay.
at the peak of the crest, and then also like on the horns and on the face, just to highlight those bits a little bit more and help them pop out.
Okay. May have to add a little bit more white. Mm. Actually, no, maybe not. Oh, so the question has come up. We're calling this one Slimer. Do we have a name for the fire elemental just yet?
Sriracha.
And not just hot sauce, not just plain old hot
Because
sauce.
they get the Slimer and the Sriracha.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Nope, I think, yeah. That's the winner right there.
Yeah. Can have fun with it that way.
Come on, there we go.
Do, 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 do. Okay, and then I'm just gonna get these little flips that are happening. So it's almost like the crest of a wave in a way. So I'm just taking this lightest green and dancing it along the very top edge of those wave crests.
Okay.
Even on the ones that are a darker green, just to give it a little bit more play and interest visually.
Yeah, definitely that lower one, like right below where the knees would be.
Yeah.
That one definitely pops once you put on,
Yep.
once you put this color on there.
Exactly. Just a fun thing to do here. There's also one along the back that's a good candidate for that.
Yep. I don't see any others.
Nope, but that basically gives you
Marp.
the green. So this is Slimer. We definitely want Slimer to dry a little bit. So I'm going to put Slimer down. Now we're going to go back to Sriracha.
I am going through a lot of paper towels today.
Same. Honestly, Slimer falling over just reminded me of something. So for some reason, and this just may be the fact that Lauren and I got earlier versions of these miniatures, because we got basically the whole like preview kits, package, if you will, from WizKids. These did not come with bases as normally would happen. So these are large creatures. They should have like large creature bases. These did not come with bases. I don't know if that was intentional, because there is print on the bottom of these minis, which is the WizKids in the year, or Wizards of the Coast in the year. And that makes me wonder if maybe they don't need bases. But I will say, just for my own personal goofing around with these on a table, if you have extra large size bases floating around because you didn't use them from other creatures, you might want to put them onto a base just to give them a little bit more stability, because they are slightly top heavy. So it's just
especially the fire one.
Yeah, the fire one especially.
Those arms.
Yeah, and speaking of the fire one, we're going to go to Bloody Red, and we're going to take that red and basically dance it along where it gets really pointy and spiky at the tip of the flame areas.
Okay.
Okay, on the upper portion of the body. It's not going to really be needed down in the yellow area. This is more focused in the upper orange area. And my reason for doing this is that if you look at fire, it actually, the closer you get to the hottest point, it goes like white hot to the lighter yellow to an orangey tone to a red tone the further away you get from the source of the heat. So that's kind of what I'm doing with this particular animated breath. I'm playing off of that concept of fire.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
We actually had a very on-topic question come in from Redden. How do you find it best to clean a dry brush when swapping colors? I always struggle after cleaning since the brush is too wet after.
Okay, so do you mean a rinse or do you mean a full clean? I'm going to have to question you back with a question. Like, are you looking for between phases of working on the miniature or actually cleaning it? Between colors.
Well, I'll say at this moment, at least for me, the swapping back and forth, like what exactly we're doing. So not the, for my benefit, I'll say, all right, so going back and forth from color to color, if you want to keep using the same dry brush, you know, kind of like what exactly we've been doing. Bleh. Talking. Apparently talking is hard.
So, all right, so if it's something where you're just trying to clean your brush jumping between different colors and you're still consistently painting, normally what I do is it's really just rinsing it super well with water. And my water actually has just a little bit of dish soap detergent stuff in it. Like Dawn, like just the slightest little, like if literally I'll put like a little bit on my fingertip and let my fingertip run underneath the water as it fills up, because that helps with the suspension and also with cleaning the brushes a little bit. So you could do that. If I really want to try and get the brush clean, I'll just rinse it and then moving it across a separate paper towel to pull the pigment out of the brush and help dry the brush at the same time for when you're working between colors at the same sitting. But if you're looking to actually clean your brushes, you want to get this. This is the Masters Brush Cleaner and Preserver from B&J, specially prepared. The original B&J.
Hey.
This actually, it's basically like you can hear it. It's this brick that's basically like soap, essentially, and you take your brush and you clean it on that. But that definitely will strip out any pigments and things that are sort of residual and hanging around on you.
Also, I just love that old school tin. It's so satisfying.
Yeah, the design, it's lovely because it's like it's plastic, so it like seals up nicely on itself because it's a twist cap. But the artwork is like that old school Victorian-esque, so it's fun.
Yeah.
Reminds me of like old pomades for hair and stuff.
Yeah.
So you can see what's happening now that I'm going in and I'm just tipping things with red. It's giving you more of that flame effect.
Yeah. Mycroft Jones is asking a question I do not know the answer to, but it's food related, so I'll ask it anyway, which is, why is pistachio ice cream dyed green, but in the shell it's dyed red?
Because actual pistachios, when you open them up, are green.
So they got to dye them red for the pistachios, but then they send the pistachios to make ice cream, and they probably don't take the red ones. They probably take the undyed ones. But like, I like the idea of like, all right, we've had to dye them red, and now we have to dye the ice cream green again.
There is something as to why pistachios were dyed red, and I want to say it was a branding thing. It's like one of those, you know, History Channel, Food Networky type of documentaries, I want to say.
Yeah. It was a 30-minute documentary on pistachios. Okay.
I'm going to take the red on the upper portion of the head just to define it more.
Yeah, I was actually just having fun making the teeth red. I'm like, why not? They're all little tiny points.
Yeah. That'll work.
Oh, Snapdad wants to know from either of us or folks in chat, have either of you used inks to glaze translucent minis?
Yep. Hold on.
Oh, she's gone to get show and tell. Show and tell time. Ooh.
That was all inks.
Very
With
cool.
some cool effects paints on top of it, but that was ink based, yeah. Yeah, inks are great too. Haven't done inks because I don't think you have inks, right, Lauren? So that could be something else we could look into, getting you a set of inks and doing.
So when we're talking about, yeah, so if we're talking about inks, are we talking about like a specialty ink that you can use as paint, or are you just talking about ink?
Inks.
Except for painting out, no, because I have writing ink.
Yeah.
I don't talk about it very often, but during the pandemic, I got very into glass tip pens, and
nice.
I have horrible handwriting, but it was fun to do it with glass tip pens and ink. So I have a couple of glass tip pens and some ink, and so every once in a while, like, you know, write a message to Luke or something in it. I care less about the results and more about the feel. It just feels good, and the noise of the scratching. It's very, very soothing. So I have a bunch of really nice actual ink, but that's why I'm like, you're probably talking about something specially for painting.
I know people who use actual inks for painting and stuff. Yeah. So you could.
Okay.
It might be a matter of you have to thin it out a little bit. But that's something I could see. I haven't experimented with writing ink myself, so I can't speak to it. But paint inks, yeah.
Now, what are the advantages to inks over acrylics?
Inks have a more intense... You saw how intense blue that miniature was. They have more of an intensity to them.
Okay, Void
it's
TV
like
35.
Take a wash and amplify it even more color saturation-wise.
Okay, that makes sense. So we have an answer to the pistachio, Void TV 35. It was originally to hide imperfections and stains on the shells and to make them more visually appearing and distinguishable to customers, which totally sounds like an American thing to do because it people who are just like, oh, that's an ugly apple, I don't want to buy it. It's a perfectly fine apple. It's just, you know, it's fine. So it doesn't surprise me that it would all be about it. On the one hand, I know food is also can be about presentation. On the other, just because it's not pretty doesn't mean it doesn't taste good and isn't still good.
Right, exactly. I'm with you on that one. All right, I'm almost there. I'm just having fun, like, doing this red on this fellow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we get the camera to play nice. Focus.
Yep, you're mine.
Let's try this way.
And I think in this case, this is another just difference between our cameras, because when I look at what yours looks like and then what mine looks like in real life, mine is just as vibrant. Right. But definitely, I don't have the... So, actually, if I do that, it's a little easier. You don't get any detail, but you can kind of see how vibrant it really is, because I have a face cam, so it's trying to focus, like, right here.
Yeah. But I'm just spinning this around so we can get a sense of what I was doing with the red tipping.
Yeah.
So now we have a lovely fire breath, and we have the acid breath going. So now what we're going to do is... Actually, let me cross off what we have done already, because we've made some really good progress already.
Yeah. It's only been an hour.
Yeah. Okay, so we're actually going to get into the washes.
Ooh. Let's wash.
Wash. So in this case, I'm going to go to my Citadel shade washes.
So I
So
had one of
for
one and one of the other. I have Cassandra Yellow in the Citadel, but I didn't have the other one. So I have
totally
the
cool.
Jubilex Slime.
Yes. So what you're gonna do is you'll do a wash on your, which is appropriate for Slimer. You'll go in with Slimer and you'll use your Jublix slime. Just make sure it is not super thick. You want to make sure it's a thinner wash when you go and do this, Lauren.
Okay.
And I'm gonna jump into using my Bieltan green from Citadel.
Okay. And the whole thing or just part of it?
Whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm going into Bieltan is just because I like the color green of this one a little bit more than the Jublix.
That makes sense.
So it's totally just an artist preference thing. It's not that you have to. It's just I like this green a little bit more.
And I think the green was the one I had an accident with a while ago, and I just
No, that was
haven't.
the Nuln, wasn't it?
Did I have it?
Where it spilled?
You know what? I don't remember. I thought it was that because I didn't have it anymore, but maybe you're right, and I just don't have it. I don't remember.
Yeah.
It's been that long.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I'm just going to start from top and bring it down to bottom on this.
Yep, I'm doing the same.
And the nice thing about doing washes is that this is what's going to start tinting the recesses of the mini without making this an opaque miniature. Because the washes are so thin, they deposit a hint of color instead of fully coloring in the recesses. So I can get it to show off. There we go.
Yeah. And this is one of my favorite parts of the process.
Mm-hmm.
Although doing it on this clear mini definitely feels different. It's still fun, but it definitely has a different it's got a different feel to it as it's almost like I'm very intentionally like painting into these giant crevices on this
it's
mini.
a different feel for sure. But the nice thing is that it plays off of all the dry brushing we did. Now pops out. Of course, this is going to be tricky to show because I'm getting flare back from the moisture.
Yeah.
But the dry brushing shows up now as this is placed over it. And more of the detail is evident because this is going into the recessed areas, which really is a lot of fun.
Well, I should say, since it is past the top of the hour, because we did have some new folks joining us from the game. If you do have any questions, go ahead and put question in big capital letters in front of your question in chat. So that way it's easy for us to see it and so that we know for sure you're asking us. Not that there's nothing wrong with asking the chat questions, especially if your question is Idle Champions related. There might be some folks in chat who can also help. But yeah, if you have questions about Idle Champions or mini painting or acid breath. I mean, I'm more familiar with hot sauce breath for sure. Not so much the acid, but yeah, go ahead and put those in chat.
That was good.
That does make me kind of want some hot wings for sure.
I mean, not gonna lie, I'm making burgers tonight. I think I might put a little hot sauce on top of my turkey burger.
Ooh,
That's
yeah.
sounding, or on the fries, or both, or who knows.
Frank's is always an excellent option.
Mm-hmm.
Man, putting the wash in the grooves on the bottom of this thing, I feel like I'm just painting into the grooves.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so distinct.
Yeah.
Did I miss anywhere?
Oh, I'm still going. You kidding me?
Uh, I've learned with washes, if I go a little bit quicker with them, I tend to not overload whatever I'm washing,
Gotcha. Gotcha.
and then I can go back and either grab places that I missed or
Mm-hmm.
um if I have places where there's too much, I can kind of quickly
Mm-hmm.
blot at it.
Gotcha.
But
Yeah.
if I spend too long, I end up painting, especially for
Got it.
stuff like this.
Yeah. That's fair. I'm
Like
almost there.
I missed the armpits. Missed the armpits. No.
Underarm pitties attack again. Pity problems.
Mm-hmm. Hashtag pity problems.
Watch, that's probably already there for like pit bulls.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, pity problems. I'm sorry. I love those reels when someone's like, "Look at my pit bull. They're such, they're so fierce and protective, etc., etc." And the dog's like just blissed out, sleeping with its tongue lolling out, and looks like a big doofus.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah, pit bulls are adorable.
Oh my god, they're hysterical.
Okay. No bubbles. No bubbles. Oof.
Baboosh.
Bubbles are fun, but not in washing. No bubbles.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this is definitely popping now.
Yep.
Garg. Marg. Marg.
Definitely got that nice slimy look. And then if you have any areas where you're realizing it's collecting too much, just stick your paintbrush tip into that area, wick away the wash, and quickly dab a paper towel next to you to pull the excess off of your paintbrush, and just rinse repeat until you pull those puddles off. So I'm going back and doing that now.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing on the base.
Yeah.
I got excited about painting the base, and then it's just like, oh no, wait, that's a little too much.
Well, plus with the fluidity of these sculpts, it's not surprising that the fluid we're putting on top of it wants to follow the lines of it.
Yeah.
So you'll find it puddles in certain spots as opposed to others, for sure.
It's like on the one hand, it's doing all the right things, and on the base, there's just such nice grooves. But on the
Yeah.
other, like that might be a little too much.
Yep. Hence the blot and dab.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Okay.
Bark. Bark.
Focus.
Gonna have to grab a few more paper towels in a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Dry brushing just blows through paper towels.
There we go. Ta-da. I feel like I keep offering something to the camera because where I'm holding this, yoink. All right,
And I offer unto you,
dry.
Slimer.
Offer you, Slimer. Okay,
All right.
so now
Fire time.
making sure to cap that one. I'm going to jump to Cassandora Yellow. Again, this is also from the Citadel shade. This is so fantastic for anything else like a flame effect. This is my go-to grab wash because it's such a beautiful, vivid, orangey yellow. I'll do a swatch on my wrist so you can see before I put it onto the mini itself.
Whole thing again?
Whole thing, yep.
Awesome.
The whole enchilada.
The whole kit and caboodle.
What are the other whole expressions out there?
What the hell? I can't think of any others offhand, but I'm sure there are others.
Yeah, there's gotta be.
Chat, help! The whole
Whole
shebang.
shebang.
Secret
Thank
30K.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let me the whole fam family.
Yes.
That was good. I appreciate your humor. All right, so here's with. Look at how vivid that is.
Yeah.
It's just such a beautiful wash. So we're gonna put this onto the whole mini. Same thing, top to bottom.
Okay.
And it's really going to make this start to get a really cool glowing effect to it. Ooh. This is going to take a while to paint through because these are some deep grooves going on here.
Yeah. I'm trying to encourage it to run with the grooves to make life easier and to kind of avoid overwashing, but there's enough dynamic to this pose that the wash is every once in a while like, nope, we're gonna stop here. Nope, that's enough.
Whole 9 yards. Oh, here we go. Look at this. There we go. The whole enchilada, the whole kit and caboodle, all the bells and whistles, everything but the kitchen sink, the whole 9 yards. So see, there's definitely expressions out there.
It is a wide array.
It really is.
Ah.
What happened?
Nothing bad. I splashed a little bit on my wrist and I went to go wipe it off, and then I was doing that with the hand that was holding the paintbrush, and so I wiped the little bit off only to then put a nice big streak of gastric yellow right on my arm. It's like, well,
that defeated the purpose.
I should have seen that coming. Okay.
That's totally okay. You know, if you have to go out later, just remember to wash your hands or arm or what have you.
Yeah, I usually take my lunch after the show, and one of the things I do is definitely just a good hand washing.
Yeah.
It's usually all it needs.
Yeah. Well, I mean, really, it's acrylic paint, so just some good, warm, soapy water.
Yep.
Usually do the trick.
Oh, yeah. Especially right after it's gotten on and hasn't had a chance to dry on me so much.
Right? Yeah.
It's pretty easy to just be like, and off.
Out, damn spot.
I know, this is the one bit in where I have no problem getting at the head. Just do some gentle encouragement in that direction.
Mm-hmm. Man, this has so many little nooks and crannies to it.
Yep. My craft Jones. Holy mackerel.
Holy
well, now we're getting a little off the line. But I do kind of want enchiladas now.
Right? We do this to ourselves every single time.
Yep.
Start talking about something food inadvertently, and then we're like, ooh, that sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Or not inadvertently, but vertently.
And
like, hey, you should have, you should, this paint should be the color of eggs.
Mm-hmm. There is a bird outside that keeps going in this very deliberate singing pattern.
Mm.
So it almost sounds like it's laughing, but it's tweeting in a laughing pattern. So like, dee, 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 dee. instead of hee 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 hee.
Yeah, we've gotten a little used to the birds in our area, how they sound when they're all happy because Luke puts out
Oh
um
yeah.
the bird feeder and
Mm-hmm.
it's at the point, I mean, I'm never going to claim that I am even a bird watcher, nonetheless an ornithologist, or be able to, tell any birds apart either by look or by sound, but we're
Mm-hmm.
used to the usual bird noises, uh, so much so that when occasionally something outside sounds nothing like what we're used to, the both of us immediately are like, "Do you hear that? What is
Ah,
that? What was that?
oh,
What's going
funny.
on?"
That's funny.
Okay.
Hmm.
I started with it upside down, and now I've turned it right side up to try to encourage it to pool in different areas so I can get
There
it.
you go.
That seems to be working.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely with these two sculpts, it helps to work with the flow of the lines
Yeah, for
when
sure.
applying these washes.
It also just is a satisfying feel.
Mm-hmm.
Just running the paintbrush in the grooves. It's almost
Yeah.
uh it's almost paint by numbers ish of like I don't have to really worry where my paint is. I'm just gonna grooves.
Uh-huh.
This is like the opposite of doing eyeballs.
True. Oh, those eyeballs. Whoa.
Yeah, look at that.
Nice. Very nice. Well, hello, sir.
Uh, Sergeant MM says, dry brushing, go across the grain. Washing, go with the grain.
Yep.
Yeah,
You got it.
that is pretty darn accurate. Let's see. Ironically enough, the parts that I just noticed that don't really have any of the wash on them are not just the base, but the edge of the base.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did my wash not want to go all the way to the ends of
Oh,
this
interesting.
mini? What?
Huh. I don't know. Let me try something here.
Oh yes, Mycroft Jones, upside down, not just for washes, but on a regular basis just to get at stuff. But I figured, because this creature has this S pattern, and a lot of the grooves are going in that way, by having it upside down when I start from the bottom, but I have it upside down, so the wash will kind of go this way, and then eventually I turned it around, so hopefully any excess would go back the other way, and it seems to be working.
That's good.
But yeah, with washes, I've found it's helpful to hold it at different angles so that it's less likely to get all clumped up into one place.
Yeah. That's still wet. I don't want to put that right on my hand. All right, so we're gonna let that dry. Put that over yonder.
Right, there we go.
Okay, so yeah, you can see this is dried up quite nicely. How are you doing with yours, with your Slimer?
Oh yeah, looks great. Sorry, I was quickly grabbing more paper towels.
Totally cool. Totally cool.
What's next?
So, well, next thing is Slimer goes flying. So what we're going to do next is go back to Slimer, and we're going to go and use that really cool effect paint that we have, the Ceram coat. So we're going to do just a nice light, one last round of dry brushing. I know I keep moving things around. Sorry, camera. One nice round of dry brushing using this to kind of give it that whole like spell effects vibe to this creature and make it, you know, have a little glow, if you will.
Yeah.
I definitely recommend, if you have a larger brush to dry brush with, move up to a larger brush.
Okay.
So it kind of keeps it a little bit more on a wider scope and not as tight into little nooks and crannies.
Now, I'm trying to remember the colors we have. Did we just not have a fire color to do the same with the fire one?
The colors are too pink is the problem. It was too pink. Okay. I experimented. I'm like, well, maybe we could get away with this. It's basically a red, but it is a pinker. Well, it's red with a pink and a gold and a purple. So it just wasn't translating the color palette we needed because of the fade factors in them.
That makes sense.
So there's going to be some other tricks we're going to use with the metallic paints that we have. But now I'm going to go in and...
But hey, any excuse to use these spell effect paints makes me happy.
Me too. And then it just kind of gives it a magical feel. And again, you're not looking for full coverage on this. You just want to glaze over the upper portions of things.
Just enough for it to shimmer in the light.
Exactly.
Even though the desire to just it's such cool paint, I want it everywhere. It's like, no, that's why we did the flail snail. That's what the flail snail was for. And now subtlety.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I like these effect paints, because depending on how you use the paint, you can get very different results. So this will give it more of a shimmer as opposed to a translucent glow. You can kind of see it catching in the camera right now.
Yeah, this I'm sure is going to be real hard for the cameras. I remember the even the flail snail with all of the shimmery paints, it was still a little hard to get it to show up in camera. And this is much more subtle.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those things, like, it helps to be up close and personal in real life with this stuff.
Yeah.
Because you get the nuances of the color shifting, because this goes from a lime green to a gold, which is why it was perfect for this acid breath.
Haven't done the whole thing yet, but let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. As I move it around, you can kind of see the shimmer playing across it.
Yep.
Barefoot Monkey says there's a scale from subtlety to blatant coffee. Yeah. Lurky Writer says, question, with the minis at this stage of painting, they are heavily reminding me of fruit pastels or wine gums. How do you avoid the urge to nom nom?
The smell of the paint?
You know, that's why we talk about food, so that we have future nom noms to think about.
Yeah.
Because no, these are forbidden nom noms.
These are the anon noms. There we go.
Also, as much as these are mimicking the colors that you're talking about, especially the slime one is not necessarily looking as appetizing, at least to me.
Right.
Beautiful, yes. Appetizing, no.
Do I want to eat it? Nope. Nope. Thank you. I'm good.
Do I want to run it in my D&D game? Yes. Do I want to nom on it? No. No.
So I'm having a little fun. I'm just taking a little bit more and putting it onto the tips of the horns and onto the tips of the frill.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Just to play them up a little bit more. Here we go.
And the horns.
Did I not? Oh, I didn't get under there. Oh, missed an area. Gotta tickle him under his chin.
Yeah, the heads on both of these are
It's tight.
really a challenge.
Yeah. That's better. So here is, let me see if I can find. Let's try this. Yeah, that helps.
Oh yeah, that definitely helps with showing off
Yeah.
the shimmer on yours. I'm just doing a last look around to see if there's any obvious
Totally
spots
fair.
that I missed.
Okay, so then what we're gonna do is I'm going to grab some glorious gold and we're gonna dot the eyes on the acid breath
Ah.
to wrap up that one. We're getting all the full experience here.
Yep. Just talking about dot and eyes.
Right?
Glorious gold, where are you hiding? There you go. Nope, I don't need that much. Ah! My glorious gold was very excited and way more than I needed just came out.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, so in the recesses of those eyes, just put a dot of this glorious gold. Now, if you want it to really pop, what you could always do is take dead white, put dead white in first, and then do the glorious gold. I'm not doing it on mine because then those eyes are really going to pop out almost to a comical point, which is why I'm just going to go in straight with the glorious gold.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'm going to do the same.
Yeah, I just like to mention it just in case someone's like, but I really want them to pop. In that case, put the white in first to play it up more. I need to get a different brush. This one's splitting in half on me.
No, brush, no.
I don't want that. Let's try you. If that cap will come off.
And I like these eyes being more prominent, like the kind of the one place that we've actually done like a full paint.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree. I think it would look weird if they stuck out that much to put the white in first.
Yeah, because this is like, it shows up, which is cool.
Oh, yeah.
But to have it like really, really white underneath it, I don't know.
So the interesting thing about both of these creatures, even though elementals and animated breaths, you can kind of find them everywhere, and they are in our game. Mm-hmm. I went to go grab art to use, as I usually do, down over there. No, nothing. Nothing. Nope, not even on D&D Beyond, which is usually my go-to.
No, I know. There was nothing on D&D Beyond, because that's where I always look first for art reference. There was no art.
Nope, no art. So that's why the what's listed there is literally the back of the box art.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that also shows true that we should have gotten bases, because look at the official art. There are bases at the bottom of those minis.
That might be me and my Photoshop skills getting rid of stuff. Especially if that
No.
green one, if it did have a clear base. Uh,
But I'm looking at the fire one. The fire one, that's a base.
that does, yeah.
That's a base, actually. Yeah, and look, it's on the official art. And I'm like, no, I'm saying it. So, yeah, these
Oh,
technically
there
should
you
have
go,
come
yeah.
with, yeah. So something must have
Phases.
just happened. Ding. All right. So Slimer is pretty much good to go. I definitely want Slimer to dry before we do anything else, because what you also want to make sure you get on this fellow is a nice glossy coat. Whether you do a gloss varnish or you grab your Mod Podge Ultra Gloss version, you want to get a good layer onto this guy so it has that lovely glowy slimy feel to it.
And now, back to fire.
Now back to fire, but my fire is still kind of damp is my issue.
Oh, yeah, mine's...
Yeah.
The upper portion is definitely...
That's just it. The upper portion is too wet for what we need to do. So what we're going to do is basically go in and start dry brushing various metallics into the different sections to kind of do what we just did with a slimer, but with the effects paint. But this is too wet. If we go in right now and we try and do this, we're going to start pulling... We're going to pull up layers of paint, and you don't want to do that. You really don't.
Yeah.
So I think what we need to do is let this dry, and we can start with this next week.
Okay.
In terms of getting the last couple layers, and then we can show you what it looks like when we put the Mod Podge Ultra Gloss on top.
That makes sense.
So you can get a start to finish thing, and then Lauren and I can scrounge up some bases and get these glued onto bases as well. Yeah, I think that's going to be the way to handle this, because there's still some really... I'm looking... Yeah, I don't want to risk it. It's not worth it.
Nah.
So let
Not
me
especially
grab...
since we're close enough towards the end.
It's getting closer to the end, yeah. So let me grab what we can work on for the other portion of next week. So people can see. One moment, please. I have to step away, though.
Yeah. I will say we do have our final show after us formation save, so stick around if you are having difficulties with any of your formations or getting any of your adventures done. Sean is there to help, and the cool thing about formation save, it's kind of a unique show. That's something that I don't think a lot of people can do. You can submit your specific formation in your game to Sean, and he can basically pull a clone of it out so that it can be your formation with your champions at the item levels that you have, so that the advice that he gives can be tailored directly for you.
The camera's being stuck.
Patty cake? Oh.
No, it's like, why
Like,
aren't
are
you...
we-
There we go.
Aha.
There's the whole thing to focus on right here. That was the whole point of the autofocus. Focus. Okay, so for next week, if you want to paint along with us, you're going to want to get a hold of gas spores. All right, we'll have some fun with these gas spores and get them started next week and finish them up the week after. And then Lauren and I need to sit down and chat about what else we're going to work on.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? No promises to anything in chat, because it's going to depend on a lot of different factors. But is there anything you would like to see? You can go ahead and put it in chat, or later on, if you think of something, go to our Discord, discord.gg/idlechampions, and give us a suggestion. We were able to do the Yeti last year because we had a lot of people asking for fur.
The fur.
So yeah, like, you're more than welcome to give specific to general suggestions. Just understand that we are limited by what minis we have access to, what minis there even are available, and also we try to do minis that are related to Idle Champions. But most of the D&D monsters are somewhere. You can find them somewhere in our game.
Yeah, so we'll have fun with these gas spore creatures, which are just disturbing. But if you want to grab this mini, it is SKU 90645. Again, local game store, or go to dndmini.com. That's the official Dungeons & Dragons website with WizKids for all of their miniatures, including both painted and unpainted. So definitely can dip in and check those out. There are other markets out there that you can check out online. literally just like, Google search bar, whatever you use. Just type in D.D. Nolzur's Marvelous Miniatures, and it'll pull up places that sell them if you don't have a local game store. So, yeah, just keep that all in mind. And then, Lauren, I just need to remember to send you the list of paints because I do have the notes for these already done. So we can pop them into Discord. We'll send you what paints we'll be using, et cetera, soon.
Yeah. Yep. If you are ever looking to paint along with us, there's a channel in the Discord that is literally called Paint and Slay, which is not just where I post the information about what we are actually painting, but if you've been doing some of your own painting, whether it's the same minis that we've been doing or something completely different, please go ahead and post. We love seeing it. We love seeing in progress works. It's great. But when you go to that channel, if you check the pinned posts, they should include all of the minis that we have done. Basically, hey, here's the animated fire and acid breath. Here are all the paints that we used. Here's anything in specific that we used, that kind of thing. Going back to episode 1. So if you are, if you're watching us on YouTube, hi, thank you for following us on YouTube. And you can start from the beginning and paint along. I also saw Seeker 30K had a silly question. Lauren, I saw your mug. Can you say, I'm Lauren, and this is my favorite stream on the Citadel. I love this mug so much. I don't get a chance to show off this side because it's Galaxy's best commander. I got a gift card to the BioWare store a while ago for something. I don't remember offhand right now why, but I got a gift card, and so I got the mug and I got socks. So I have N7 socks. But yeah, this mug is my favorite mug, and the only thing I keep doing, because I normally keep my drinks on the right, but this mug it's got the N7 logo on one side, and it's got but this is the part I want to show off, so I have to like grab the mug with my left hand and be like, oh, look at that.
Hey, take a look. Just, because. Fantastic. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That really is cool.
I love that mug.
Yeah. Oh, I am so happy with how the Slimer one came out, though. This is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Slimer's pretty much done. We just got to do a nice little gloss coat on them. That'll be great. Put them right there. And then I'm just going through really quickly and washing my brushes with this cleaner. Basically, they're going in wet. It creates a nice little froth that gets into the brush.
Oh, yeah.
Just to help pull out those pigments, and then I rinse it off.
How's that smell?
No soap, no odor.
Oh,
it's basically like, a bar of soap without fragrance to it.
Okay. I don't know why, looking at it, especially with you talking about it foaming up, I had a visceral shoe leather polish reaction, and that smell
makes sense. Yeah. No.
Just because of what it looks like, but obviously.
Yeah, no, that's not what this one does, at least. So that's good.
Shoe polish is not necessarily a bad smell, but like someone wearing too much cologne, shoe polish does tend to be. This would be a good smell if it was half as strong.
Right.
So.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. All right. Fun fact.
Okay.
Speaking of shoe polish, here's a slight tangent, but fun fact. So, Children of Verte just came to an end. The stream that I've been doing on Tuesdays for a while, and I've been playing Neb, who she had dyed her hair blue, and it was basically a hint from the beginning of the game about what she was going to become, was the blue hair. So the first game that we played, the very first episode, we all did we basically cosplayed our characters, which was easy because we were all still human at that point.
Right.
And so I bought this hair mud that you can get online from a bunch of different places that is colored so that you can put it in your hair and color your hair and then be able to wash it out. So you don't have to do dyeing. You don't have to do any of that stuff. And it worked really well. And it was very easy to wash out. And it was a bit of a mess, but that's going to be obvious. The one thing that I was glad I got warned about ahead of time, because I was reading through the reviews, and basically to a T, everyone said worked great. When you put it in, it's just as vibrant blue as it looks in the tin. When it dries, it's it holds really well. It's like all these positive things, but it smells like cologne, and the smell doesn't go away. Everybody to a T. So I'm like, all right, I know what's going on. So that first game, I just a couple of hours early just to like take my time, and I never used this stuff before. And yeah, by the end of it, I'm like, okay, it's not a bad smell.
Okay.
Like
well,
it's
that's good.
nice cologne, but once again, it's a little too much, too strong, and it doesn't go away. So by the end of it, I was like, all right, I got to get this out of my hair now because, yeah, and we just had to air out the whole apartment. And yeah.
Jeez. God.
Just once again, just because it was just too much, way too much. So I think that's why I had such a reaction to that tin.
Fair.
I heard shoe polish and there's like cologne. It's like, oh, yeah.
No, that's totally fair.
Yeah. Of all of the problems to have, that was one I was more than happy to deal with because, like I said, it washed out really easily. Once it dried, you could touch it and it wouldn't just like come off on your hands. Nice. It did not stain, and at least it didn't stain if you wiped it up in a reasonable amount of time. Like I never left anything like sitting around. So it never stained the bathtub. It never stained. So like it ticked off all the boxes. And if the worst case scenario was I just had to air out the office. So for those of you who are like, well, why didn't you do the blue hair more often? That's why. It was just so overpowering.
Yeah. Too much work.
It was also a lot of work, but
yeah.
There you go. That's my tangent for the day. Ooh.
Speaking of too much work, so you don't have to do too much work. It's a weekend buff. So you can actually do some fun things with your champions, and we give you something free for 2. So this is the Rashomon Travel Weekend, and you get a free gold travel chest if you haven't lined up. Sure. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, just log into the game. There's an option to sign up for our newsletter. You'll get a newsletter from us right off the bat. You'll get Hitch. I mean, hey, why not? And then we will send you about once a week a newsletter about what to expect for that weekend, along with champions, as well as a free chest. Sometimes we send you something else, but I promise you there's always something free involved with our newsletters to help you out in-game. And then also, pertaining to this weekend, don't forget you want to log in for Greengrass. This is the last weekend to take advantage of gearing up your champions, playing through different things, so on and so forth, and making sure you get Gale and Penelope added to your formations. So get that done before the weekend is over, because next week, hey, that's going to be coming to a close before you realize it. So that is definitely something to keep in mind as well. And stick around. We have Formation Save happening after this show is done. And to Gabe, thank you so much for helping us out with the questions. And to chat, thank you so much for asking the questions and participating in the chat. And, a whole bunch of other things as well. So we'll pick back up with these animated breaths, both fire and acid, next week, and jump into working on some gas spores. And until next week, I hope everyone has a great weekend. Take care, and we'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.